nii, tere! Ma lihtsalt jätkan rääkimist ja siis saate aru, kas te mind kuulete lõpuks või on mikrofoniga ikka mingid probleemid. Nojah, nii, tere, hallo, kop. Aga olla? Äkki tal juhtus kõlaritega midagi?
Oota.
No, jah. Sa lihtsalt näed, et ma räägin ilmselt.
Räägi lihtsalt.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ma räägin nagu väga kõvasti praegu.
Jaa, okei.
Super. Yes, sorry for that. Just a little technical, I don't know, error. You see, technology, it's not good for you, always. That's kind of your movie, I think, as well. But The Matrix celebrated its 20th anniversary recently, and it was an interesting mixture of martial arts movies and deep science fiction. And your movie is even crazier because it also has elements of spaghetti westerns and horror comedy. And what made you decide to make a strange mixture of all these different components rather than make a more convenient science fiction film for a wider audience?
Well, I think actually the 21st century is like that. It's a mix, it's a collage, it's trash, it's pure trash. Because YouTube, we have an environment, we are in an environment full of trash, all around us. And even we are watching this Q&A or this film, and later on we are going to start watching some porn, and later on we are going to read the New York Times. Basically, that's it.
And he's one of the science fiction writers who was very concerned about virtual reality and all these technological advancements that we have. And I see that most science fiction directors, they are very pessimistic when they make movies about the near future or technology. And your film as well, it's kind of funny, but it has a kind of deep, sad story about losing your identity and becoming a stranger to yourself. Like, where does that pessimism come from you?
Well, I think, and more, I think that there is a lack of tale. There is so much noise around us that it's very difficult to find our identity. Of course, our identity is nothing fixed, but it's something that moves. It's something liquid. But at the same time, I think the quantity of noise, news, we have to have every day one opinion about one thing. And besides that, the fact that we are also lost in the world of ideas, but also lost in the physical space. I'm now just my worst nightmare has become true because I am a screen. I'm just a computer screen. I don't have body anymore. So losing the body and losing the mind, I think there are two characteristics of the 21st century.
Use technology every day as well, having to try it, like, I don't know, doing some sort of meditation trip in the mountains, like, I think your movie also reflects the importance of religion, I think, in a way. Like, is there a meaning to religion to you as well?
I'm actually an atheist, but I consider religion, the importance of religion for me is maybe to be able to stop and think about where are we going? What is our idea of happiness, right? Where are we able to plan our own life? Or are we just puppets in front of the different stimuli and different kind of noise that surround us? I think it's very important to be silent in front of this noise and try to decide what we want to become or what we want to do in our lives. So yes, definitely, maybe religion goes in that ways. The religions of reflection, story, and silence.
And the philosophy of it all is kind of hidden in the film behind these really weird theatrics that you did. Why was it important for you to also make this kind of very mixed, kind of crazy entertainment?
Yeah, because I think the essence of the human being is tragicomedy. So that's what I want to give that aspect of dark comedy. I mean, I don't think it's a bright comedy, but it's a dark comedy. Because if you see the people that controls this world, they are talking right now about aliens. They are talking about drinking bleach. They are talking about, so it's really quite funny and quite tragic at the same time. The question that we are not in control of our own life. But we are. I think stupidities are in control of our own life, and that's very tragic. You know, like the Greek tragedies, where the hero is not in control of his own destiny, but the gods are. But I feel the same. So it's very funny and very tragic.
And let's talk about the making of the film a little bit, because it's a really weird movie for Estonians to watch, I think in particular, because it was also an Ethiopian movie in part and many other countries. How did it all begin for you? Like, what was the first kind of country where you found kind of funding for it and the resources to do it? And how did it all come together, sort of?
Well, nobody was going to give us money for this film. Nobody. So we did a trailer, a teaser, with our own money, and that allowed us to make a crowdfunding. And with the crowdfunding, we were invited to Cannes Film Festival, where we got some co-producers. So the spirit of love, the spirit of belonging to a project is more important sometimes than the spirit of money. Because when people feel involved in a project and feel passion for a project, for instance, I can give you an example. I have one of the guys who made the VFX is Paddy Eason, who has made, for instance, the VFX for Harry Potter. So obviously he didn't get 1 million euros to do our visual effects. So how we convince them? How we convince these people? With passion and with love for what we are doing. So the film funding came later. When you have all this passion and all this love, they believe that you are going to make it. And then is when they have to support you, because they will be ashamed if they don't support you.
But the film has been doing kind of well. I've heard stories of it going to different festivals all over the world, and it's still happening. How do you feel about the reception of the film now? Were you surprised?
Going to festivals is very good, because it's the moment where you can meet with the audience, but also with other filmmakers. Among the audience, like when I go to film festivals, I am audience and I am filmmaker. So it's a way you create a community of people with the same interests, same philosophical discussions, and happy stories. So this internet world and this virtual world, it will never substitute the pleasure of having some beers with the friends and becoming make more friends. It will never substitute that.
And there's an audience question which is kind of hard to understand for me, but the question is: have you experienced the reality mixing with fantasy? I don't know if maybe it's talking about your own life. Maybe you've had any fantastical experiences in your life. Maybe, I don't know, trying some weird drugs, because the movie is kind of a drug-fueled trip. Or what role does fantasy play in your own life?
I can tell you that I never tried drugs in my life, and that's a fact. And I never had an hallucination. But I like to imagine, and I like to project, and I like to feel the magic of for instance, I like to walk and to imagine in my neighborhood who is living in that house in the corner, what is happening inside. When I was living in Mexico City, I like to go to the top of my building. It was a 20 floors building, and I would spend 2 hours but watching at the windows far away and imagining the lives of the people there. So it's more a question of imagination than a real experience.
And the story that you wrote, is it the same? The script, was it any different from the movie that we saw, or where did you come up with new things when you were making it? Like the fly men, the fly creatures, like was that an idea that came to you like very spontaneously on the set, or was it all planned out?
Yes, normally everything was planned out, but also the locations inspire me, the places inspire me to create sometimes a scene. And sometimes people inspire me, not especially actors, but people that are very special by themselves, and I want to show them. So the film is a combination always between a screenplay and these inspiring places and inspiring people around. So I can give you an example. We didn't know where to shoot the kung fu fight of the three ninjas, and somebody told us, there is a guy that has been building a system of caves for more than 40 years. Okay, but let's go there and meet him in the middle of Ethiopia. And we arrived and we interviewed the guy and we asked him, like, how did you end up building a system of cave for 40 years? An angel told me that I should build it. So this should be a church. But the Orthodox Church never wanted that thing. Never. And now it was more like a place where the teenagers were going there to rent some caves to fuck, basically. So that place was really inspiring. And we saw the kung fu fight there. So you have to keep always an eye open.
You use some very interesting techniques in the film, like the psycho book scenes that play in slow motion. You shot different frames of actors just doing these robotic movements, and you took them frame by frame. So there's a question from the audience that's actually asking what were the most challenging parts to film and what took the longest to do?
There were two challenging parts. One is to shoot with no team, or basically with two persons in the Nile waterfalls in Ethiopia. So we basically took three Kung Fu guys that were awesome. And then we walked to the Nile waterfalls and we shot a Kung Fu scene with a guy dressed as Batman, which is quite an achievement. And the other thing was the stop motion with humans that basically consists in take the movements of my brother and my friend Agu shot by shot, picture by picture for hours and hours for at the end 3 or 4 seconds a scene or 10 seconds a scene. So that was really, really tough, especially for the actors, not for us.
I had forgotten about the Batman scene. What's the importance of these pop culture references for you in the film?
I think it's, yes, we live in a trust society. So everything that looks very spectacular, like Marvel movies, and every bright and beautiful and well done, if you scratch it a little bit, shabby and very cheap things are behind. There is nothing more cheap than Coca-Cola Plaza, the cinemas.
When does art become art for you?
Sorry?
When does art become art for you? There are some people who say that Marvel movies are art, and so people have a very different understanding of the word art.
Art should be always to make the people free and to think and to feel something out from your comfort zone, and to always come back to the question of who I am, where do I want to go, and not only intellectually but emotionally. And art should always inspire, and it's an energy that makes you wanted to do creative things, that wanted to do new things. And so when you go to a concert that you really love, you go home and you want to do your films, or you wanted to do your own punk band. That's for me art. And
tell us something about the main actor in the film, because I think he's one of the most memorable parts of it, Daniel Tedes. I don't know if I said it right, but how did you find him, and why did you want him to be in the film?
I found him in Ethiopia. He was an actor for a long time. He was playing in the films of my friend Johannes Feleke. And I immediately love him because he doesn't represent the typical hero from Hollywood films. a strong hero, but he represents what I consider the essence of my of life, which is a tragic hero, tragicomic hero. So somebody that is weak, smart, but at the same time empathic, and he tries his best, but is always crushed by the destiny. Because I identify myself with this kind of heroes, of losers somehow, but with a great heart. They try, they fail, but at least they try.
There's one more question from the audience. Someone is asking, what are your next plans to get us out of our comfort zone?
Well, I want to shoot a film in Estonia, and I'm trying to plan shooting for the next year. But there are so many things that take you from your comfort zone, and I hope that when the coronavirus is over, the concerts start again and the music start again, and really we go a little bit now. This brings, I hope it brings certain crisis that shakes the ground and make us really appreciate what is important in life, which is creativity, freedom, friendship, and love.
Thank you for the nice final words, and thank you for joining us, Miguel. I see that you have become your movie because you're on the screen now. And thank you very much. I hope everybody enjoyed it, and this is it. Bye-bye. Have a good night.
Thank you so much to HÖFF and to Ralph, to you, Ralph. Very nice.